The rain hammered against the veranda roof, a relentless percussion against the uneasy silence. Jedediah Stone watched Elias Thorne crumble onto a velvet armchair, his face slick with a sheen of sweat. Clem, ever vigilant, stood sentinel near the doorway, his hand resting on the butt of his revolver. "He's exhausted, Marshal," Clem murmured, his voice barely audible above the storm. Jedediah grunted, his gaze fixed on Thorne. The man's grief felt manufactured, a performance intended to obscure something deeper. "Exhaustion doesn't leave a man shaking like a leaf, Deputy. It doesn't account for the tremor in his hand when I questioned him about his brother's shipping interests." Thorne swallowed, his Adam's apple bumming nervously. Silas, he was a complicated man. Had dealings, foreign dealings. "Dealings you conveniently left out of your initial statement," Jedediah countered, his voice low and steady. "Shipping manifest discrepancies. Silas, unusual cargo. Goods coming in from New Orleans, items he claimed were antiques, but reeked of something far more illicit." Thorne's eyes darted around the room, avoiding Jedediah's unwavering gaze. He was restoring our family's reputation, Marshal. My father lost everything, you see. Shipping scams, legal trouble. Silas wanted to bring back the glory. Jedediah remembered his own father, a man burdened by a similar shadow of past indiscretions. He recognized the desperation in Thorne's words, but also the careful maneuvering. Restoring your family's reputation doesn't include importing who knows what and evading the authorities. The storm seemed to intensify, rattling the windows as if mirroring Thorne's inner turmoil. He wanted to be something more than a rancher, Marshal. He craved the excitement, the profit. A slender, unnamed woman emerged from the shadows of the study, her face pale and drawn. She had been discreetly observing the interrogation. She carried a small, leather-bound ledger. "I found this, Marshal," she said, her voice soft but clear. "It appears to be Silas's account book. Some interesting entries." Jedediah took the ledger, his fingers brushing against hers. He recognized her, a quiet presence who moved through redemption like a ghost, always privy to secrets others tried to hide. He'd had brief, cryptic conversations with her before, fleeting exchanges hinting at a deeper understanding of the town's undercurrents. The ledger detailed payments, dates, and cryptic descriptions of goods: Persian rugs, Egyptian scarabs, breath of the earth. Jedediah's pulse quickened. The last entry, written in a hurried scroll, caught his eye. The ruby, secured. A small, hand-drawn ruby was sketched beside the words. "The ruby," Jedediah repeated, his gaze returning to Thorne. Thorne's breathing grew shallow, his hands clutching the arms of the chair. I don't know anything about a ruby, Marshal. Silas kept his affairs private." Jedediah flipped back a few pages, noticing a recurring symbol sketched in the margins, a stylized silver feather. It was a mark he recognized from his father's old journals, a symbol connected to a smuggling operation that had plagued his family years ago. Silas had been resurrecting his father's old business. "Your father had dealings with a man named Vargas," Jedediah said slowly, watching Thorne's reaction. "Mateo Vargas, prospector, claimed to have seen an argument between you and Silas near the ridge a few days ago. What was that about?" Thorne paled further. "Vargas is a liar, Marshal. A drunkard. He fabricated that story to extort money." A sudden crash from upstairs drew their attention. Clem immediately moved to investigate, his revolver drawn. Jedediah remained, his eyes fixed on Thorne. The scent of sandalwood, faint yet distinct, hung in the air. It was a familiar scent, one he's associated with certain characters in his past. Clem returned, his face grim. "Someone was in Silas's study, Marshal. Rifled through his papers. Took something." Jedediah nodded, a chilling certainty settling in his gut. "Find out what they took, Deputy." He turned back to Thorne. "You're not leaving this house, Mr. Thorne. Not until I know everything about this ruby and everything about those shipping connections." As the rain continued its relentless assault on the house, a single sheet of paper drifted from Thorne's pocket, landing at Jedediah's feet. It was a playing card, the Queen of Spades, its black ink stark against the damp linen. A single word was scrawled beneath it: "Beware." The woman in the shadows, as silent as ever, simply watched, her expression unreadable. Jedediah knew, with chilling certainty, that redemption was teetering on the edge of something far more dangerous than he's initially suspected, and he was standing directly in the path of a storm he was only beginning to understand.